Bishop, we have witnessed that. What would you say about this church? This church came about because they were displaced from a previous church, which was an Anglican church. But when the issue went to court, it was not very clear whether the church was Anglican or was not. It was an independent church. So we ended up finding out that many of our clergy people kind of resist to be under the Anglican Church of Kenya, and they don't want to be under the Anglican Church of North America, and it's a lot of confusion for the followers. This is not an issue that is just in Boston. It is in Dallas, it's in Atlanta. It's an issue that is dividing Kenyans everywhere, and the divisions are very bad. You also find that the churches, pastors don't want to come together to bring their people together. What would you tell as a church leader, say about the way this church came about and the fight and the displacement that was there?
I think what I will say is that the church is a church because it is a living organism called by Jesus to minister. But a church is a church which is also an institution that has structures and leadership, because you can't have an institution and a living organism without proper leadership and management systems. And from the little information I've gathered, as you say, churches here in North America, people come, most of clergy come to study, and after that they remain and they establish churches. And sometimes they may want to see those churches as belonging to them or churches just around themselves. But I think what we are saying is, if we can have structured churches with proper leadership, and particularly the Anglican Church is well led. It is an Episcopal church, it's not a congregational church, where the bishop is the head, and we have people who work under the bishop, the archdeacons, the vicars of various parishes, the rural deans, and that kind of a structure, we may not achieve it quickly here. But the way we want to address it is we want to first and foremost identify how many clergy who are Anglicans who have small congregations. And our prayer is if we can be able to get them organized around structures like rural deaneries, and from deaneries we can appoint others as archdeacons and work together with the Anglican Church of North America to be able to get these structures in place, so that even when our bishops come to serve, we will find congregations that are well structured, well organized, that people can really have a future and a hope. And the registration of these churches should be done properly, that they are not going to be registered as just companies or people's properties, but are registered as a church where ministry is going to happen, not around an individual, but around a community of faithful people who are witnessing for Jesus Christ. And that's my advice. And what we are beginning to think is probably next year, God willing, I might want to come back and try to get all the clergy who are Anglicans of different communities, of different tribes, who are in different cities, and ask ourselves this question: how can we organize ourselves here so that we can organize Kenyan communities without confusing the Christians, so that we are leading them with proper structures? And I'm willing to provide that leadership so that we can have proper leadership the way we have it at home. And that's our commitment. And if we find favor with all of them, we can be able to get them into organized systems of management.
We have some churches who are operating in partnership with some of bishops underneath the Anglican Church of Kenya, under your leadership in Kenya. They are operating here, but they have those side partnerships. They don't recognize the main Anglican Church, but they recognize the diocese or the bishop that they are working with. What would you say about that? Is that a good organizational structure?
I don't want to speak into that too much, because I really don't know them and who is allied to who. But you know, we are evolving, we are becoming. And I think those are just the beginnings of the journey. But what we are saying, the ideal position is to have churches, if they are partnering with the Anglican Church, that does not identify with a particular bishop, that when I come as a bishop, I come as a bishop, and any bishop in Kenya will be able to visit them and offer episcopal duties without any restrictions. And I think I want to also pick up with the House of Bishops in Kenya to see how best can we relate with the churches here, and how can they be ministered in our absence by the bishops who are here, whom we partner with.
Kenyans here say that they would also want to be united in a way that they are together from different churches, come as an association of Kenyans in the United States or in Boston, where even all clergy from different places can come together. Do you think it's a good idea for clergy also to join with other clergy in a different organization outside of church to promote unity?
That will be perfect. Anything that is done in goodwill and anything that is done for the common good of the common people will be a very welcome idea. And unity is forever a strength of any community. Whenever people come to be united, either in business or in church or education of their children, they are able to sort out a myriad and a huge problem affecting them than when they are divided or when they are individuals. So any coming together is a welcome move. And may God bless you.
Thank you, thank you.
Come with me. Yeah.
What do you think about this?
If you want cake,
Pretty cool.
I can hear it. If you want cake, come with me. Can you give us a
Have you attended such a multicultural kind of church?
No, I haven't. My
What's your
name is
name?
Suzanne, and I feel very privileged to have experienced today. And I'm looking forward to all the wonderful things that the Holy Spirit will do through the people that will be coming to this church.
Are you a member of this church?
Yes, I am.
And have you now learned a little bit about Kenyans and the Kenyan culture and the way of worship?
I am in the process of learning, absolutely. I've been to other services
All right.
that they've done. Yep, so I am learning, but I don't understand the language.
What do you think about
But
the
I
Archbishop?
understand the music.
Oh, that's good. So you like to see more of this?
No, it's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. What about the Archbishop's visit? Do you think it's important? The visit by the Archbishop?
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's like incredibly important, especially after all the things that have gone on with Faith Anglican, like for the bishop to come and lend his support in such a powerful way by his presence, the effort it takes to get here, it's incredible. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
We had the Archbishop from Kenya visiting Jacksonville, Sapit. I would like to hear some of your comments. What do you think about the event? I may want to start with Mr. Jomo because I know Mr. Jomo is a visitor to this place. Probably his first time to be here. What did you think about today, man?
A very wonderful occasion, and an occasion that has brought these people together after they have been devastated by events. But I could see a very spirited community. I hope they will continue, and I hope from this kind of an occasion we are going to learn more, and hopefully this kind of things that have been happening around the community may not happen again. It looks like a very encouraging situation. Started bad, but ended up very well.
But I think you also said that some things have been happening in our community that are not very good. Do you mind telling us, just in summary, just a little bit about what you don't think is going well and how this church can give us a good way forward on how to deal with our situation?
Some of the recent church upheavals are not very encouraging, because they continue dividing the community into small segments as opposed to bringing them together. My whole understanding of the church is an entity that brings people together as opposed to people dividing them together. So we need to work towards this social cohesion, and the church as an institution, if it can be used for that purpose, would go a long way in bringing people together. So recent events that everyone knows do not seem to be pointing towards that direction. But I hope we will run from this situation and come up better.
As a Kenyan, do you think these guys who had to fight for this church and had to go through the court, they had the pastor in court, and do you think they did the right thing, or do you think they have helped us?
I am a believer in fighting for the truth, and in fighting to make sure that community entities remains community entities, and anyone, and the leadership up there should claim them. So if people are fighting for what they believe is their rights, and I don't think a group of 60 people belong as opposed to one person. So you can always see where the truth, the writing of the truth is. When 60 people think something has not been done well, and they come up against it and they fight for it, I think that's what freedom is all about. And if you cannot get freedom in the church, I don't know where else you can get. I kind of saw a revolution. It started here in the South Shore, and there it is. And it has come up. I mean, these people, what they started ended up very well, and that's the whole idea of a revolution. You fight those things that are not good, and you replace them with something that is very conducive. Like we have here, we have an entity here, we have a new church here, with everyone settling down after a very long struggle that was there. So I think this is I see it as a revolution. It's a revolution in our mind, in our entity, in our thinking, and everything else. So.
Final question, Mr. Jobo. Do you see any parallel between what happened in this church and what is going on in the other church in Worcester, the St. John's Church in Worcester?
I think they are quite. These are it's similar to the French Revolution. Started in France and then it developed in the other parts of the world. And a revolution started in France, went to Prussia, went to Germany, went to all these states in Europe, and again this one here starts here in Quincy, then goes to down there, and they have very many similarities, but the outcomes are also very encouraging. Seeing that people are not getting disintegrated, the unity is actually getting strengthened as the process goes, and above all, a situation whereby people learn when things are long, they have to be termed as long. There is no sugarcoating them.
Thank you, Mr.
That's what I see.
Joroge, Mr. Joroge, what would you say? You've been in this thing for a long time, from the get-go, in the court, protesting outside the church, worshipping outside the fence. What do you feel about seeing today, what happened here today?
I'm very happy to see what happened today. We did have the Archbishop of Anglican Church of Kenya with us, and we did have Bishop Murdoch, and we are happy to be a community that's being recognized by the hierarchy in the Anglican Church of Kenya. We are very happy to be Christians, and we are happy to follow the regulations put by the Anglican Church so that we can be able to follow and bring up our kids in the Christian way.
Do you think the whole fight was worth it?
Yes, I believe it was worth it. Like Mr. Njomo said, there is no way the leadership could have come to visit if there was no truth in it. They've been studying this for a very long time, and they made up their minds and they've come to visit us. So I think that's a very good signal, and we do appreciate them very much.
Thank you. Bwana Karumwa, can you tell Kenyans a little bit about what you feel today, being here, seeing through the whole problems, and now the visit by the Archbishop from Kenya?
I think what I see today is a great hope for some of our churches, because like where we started, we were doomed. We didn't even know where to go, and like we can say, it's the grace of God we landed into this place that the people, the white people here, accepted us like brothers and sisters. So what I can see is a big hope, a good future for this church. And now our visit from the Archbishop is very interesting. It puts us in a situation that we see he's trying to bring all Anglican churches together, and he's promising to work on that issue so that all the Anglican churches and all our priests from from Kenya in America, they could get together and then we can have some unity.
Great. Do you think Kenyans are capable now of separating church and state? Do church things in church and do community things outside of church?
Well, what I would say for that is that mostly the reverends and the pastors know at least what it means to be, they be able to separate. But for the followers, those people are only going there for the word of God. So I think, I don't think everybody knows exactly the difference between the church and the law of the country.
So it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but I think it's going to be, at some point, we set a good precedent, a good example to the others. I think it has helped so many other people, and they think they're happy. And I would also say, you as a person, you have also helped us together, and you have spread this word. And so I think it is making so many people understand what it means.
Thank you, Mr. Arumo.